This is a story of humility and love, the story of Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. The hour had come. Jesus knew his time on earth was drawing to an end. The weight of what was about to happen rested heavily on him. In just a few hours he would be betrayed, arrested, and led to the cross. The disciples were gathered for the Passover meal, an ancient Jewish tradition, remembering how God had delivered Israel from slavery in Egypt. But this night was different. Something greater was happening. As the meal began, a silent tension filled the room. The disciples did not yet understand what Jesus was about to do. They had followed him for 3 years, witnessing miracles, teachings, and wonders beyond imagination. Yet, in their hearts, they still expected him to rise as a mighty earthly king, to overthrow the Romans and restore Israel. What they did not realize was that Jesus was about to teach them a lesson far greater than any political victory, a lesson about humility, love, and the true nature of his kingdom. In those days, the roads of Israel were dusty and people wore sandals. When guests arrived for a meal, it was customary for a servant to wash their feet, a lowly, menial task, but on this night no servant was present to do it. Not one of the disciples volunteered to take on the job. They were still caught up in their own desires for greatness. In fact, according to Luke's gospel, they had been arguing among themselves about who was the greatest in the kingdom of God. Then, something unexpected happened. Jesus stood up. Without saying a word, he removed his outer robe, took a towel, and tied it around his waist. The room grew silent as the disciples watched him. "What is he doing?" they asked. Then he poured water into a basin and knelt down. One by one, he began to wash their feet. The King of Glory, the Son of God, the Creator of the universe, kneeling before fishermen, tax collectors, and ordinary men, gently cleaning the dust and dirt from their feet. It was a shocking sight. The Messiah was performing the duty of a servant. The disciples were speechless. When Jesus reached Simon Peter, the outspoken disciple recoiled in shock. "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Peter asked, unable to comprehend why Jesus would do such a thing. Jesus, with a calm yet firm voice, replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Peter shook his head and said, "No, you shall never wash my feet." In his mind it was unthinkable. How could the Son of God lower himself to such a degrading task? Shouldn't it be the other way around? But then Jesus said something profound. "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." Peter's heart stopped. The weight of Jesus' words struck him deeply. This was not just about clean feet, it was about spiritual cleansing. Realizing his mistake, Peter responded eagerly, "Then, Lord, not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Jesus smiled gently and said, "Those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean, and you are clean, though not every one of you." He was referring to Judas, the one who would soon betray him. After washing each disciple's feet, Jesus stood up, put on his robe, and returned to his place at the table. The room remained silent. The disciples were overwhelmed, confused, and deeply moved. Jesus looked around the table, his eyes filled with love and wisdom. Then he spoke. "Do you understand what I have done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you." The disciples listened intently as Jesus continued. "Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them." It was a moment of revelation. Jesus had just shown them that true greatness is not about power, status, or recognition, but about humility and service. He was teaching them that in God's kingdom, the highest position belongs to the one who serves. This act of washing feet was a foreshadowing of something even greater. Soon Jesus would go to the cross. Just as he washed their feet with water, he would soon wash away their sins with his own blood. His humility was not just an act, it was his entire mission. He came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. Mark 10:45. That night the disciples saw what true love looked like, and in the days to come they would fully understand the depth of Jesus' sacrifice. On that unforgettable night, Jesus turned the world's idea of power upside down. He showed that true strength is found in humility and true leadership is found in serving others. As followers of Christ, we are called to follow his example. May we always remember the greatest in the kingdom of God is the one who serves. Thank you for watching Holy Histories. If this story blessed you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful Bible stories.